Okay, ladies, we have some. I am still on a little bit of a delay and I cannot figure out why. Hey, Alyssa. Now, is everybody unmuted? Okay, I've unmuted everybody, I think. Okay, awesome. Yes, I can, Tanya.
Yay!
I'm still the one on delay, I think. And I don't know why I'm on delay. So I may have to get on my cell. I'm not sure why I'm on a delay. How are you ladies doing tonight?
Great.
Good. Maybe my picture's just on delay.
Yeah, I can hear you coming through pretty good.
Okay, awesome. So maybe it's just the video that's on delay, because it sounds like you can pretty much hear me as I'm talking.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe I need not to move that much and the picture won't be funny. Okay. I've got somebody texting me about their video. So 1 second and we'll get started. Okay, someone else was trying to get on. Now, you ladies cannot see your video. Is it because you're in your pajamas?
Kind of.
Okay, until my video catches up, I may, because I want us all to introduce ourselves anyway, so I may take my video down for just a moment to see if the delay will go away, because my audio seems to be fine. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome, and that's the most important thing. So let me take my video down while we do introductions, and it's perfectly fine if you guys are, if you guys have your video off, that's okay. And if you're in your pajamas, that's okay. So I've done Zoom in my pajamas before, glasses, everything. And by the time this is over, I may be in my pajamas wearing my glasses. So yeah, let me stop my video for a second to see if that'll help. Okay, so I can still see who's on. We have 6 people on, including myself. We have a few that are running late, no problem. And I just want to officially welcome everyone. I'm just so excited that you guys are here for the launch of Self-Image Mastery. This is going to be 101. And after the 4 weeks, we're going to take a little bit of a break. And about the end of March, for those who want to register and do Self-Image Mastery 201, you're more than welcome to re-register and jump back in. I'm just so excited that you guys are here for the first one tonight. I would love it if everybody would at least say their name, maybe introduce themselves, and tell us why you're in the program. I am fortunate enough to already know all of you. And most of you know that I've been with Keller Williams Realty for, 11 years. And I became a John Maxwell coach, speaker, and trainer in 2015. And then this last year, a member of the DISC faculty. So why don't we start the introductions, and I'm going to try to bring my video back online. Do we have a volunteer to go first for introductions, or do I get to pick?
Hey, Regina.
Yes.
This is Leslie. Is this an audio or is it a video?
It can be either. My video is a little slow, so I took my video down for a moment.
Oh,
my audio is
I want to
working
make
just
sure.
fine. So do you want to be on video, Leslie? Because we'd love to meet you.
Well, if everybody else is, yeah.
Well, not half of us are video, and my video right now is sketchy, and the other half,
Okay.
I think, are in their pajamas and don't want us to see them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
Well, I'll go first since I'm talking.
Yay, Leslie, great. Oh, and there's Lynn
yeah.
Bailey. Okay, so Leslie will be first introducing herself. She'll kick us off. Again, I apologize that my video is having a little bit of issues, but I think my audio is just fine. So if I take myself up and down, it's because the video can be a little bit annoying and distracting. So we'll go ahead and kick off Leslie with introductions.
Okay. Hey, guys. My name's Leslie Kunkel, and I've been with Keller Williams since 2005. Are these all Keller Williams people?
Yes, I think everybody is. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I'm always trying to improve myself, and I felt like this would be a great way to get to know myself a little better, learn more about myself, and fix whatever I need to fix.
Okay, Leslie, I'm glad that you're with us tonight. Who's the second volunteer?
I'll go.
Awesome.
Can you see me?
We can?
Okay, that's scary.
No, it's not.
I'm being brave.
My video is what's frightening.
Well, hello, everyone. And hi, Leslie. It's Roseanne, Paul's wife.
Hey, Roseanne. Can I see Roseanne? I want to be on video, too. I want to see her.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I'm excited about this class. I've been with Keller Williams since 2014. I work on the De Regatas team out of the Beaufort office. And Regina, I always enjoy and love to hear you speak. And when you spoke, I guess about a week or two ago at our office, and it kind of gave us an intro, I guess something that really stuck with me was when you said we get in our own way. And I think that would describe this gal. So I think this will be a very beneficial class.
Great. Thank you, Roseanne. Who's next?
I'll go. My name is Alyssa Redding, and I am in my pajamas, but I'm I'm having to chase my dog around a little bit. I'm here, but I don't want to be a distraction on the video part, so that's why I don't have mine up. But I am a vendor partner with Keller Williams and do contract to close work and whatnot. And I signed up for this class at the end of November when I got the email from Regina. I love every class that she does.
You get the prize. You're the first sign up.
Yay!
I just started introducing it to a couple of people. So thank you.
Yeah, you were so impactful when you teach. And so when I saw the email come through, I definitely, was super excited about signing up. And then I had a really rough end to 2018. And it was perfect timing that this is starting in January. So I've been almost having a problem with my self-image to an extent. So this couldn't be more timely, and I'm just super excited to dive in deep and just work on me. So I'm very excited.
That's great, Alyssa. I'm so glad you're here. Who's next?
I'll go. My name is Tanya Bird. I'm with Keller Williams in the Peachtree City office. I think I've been with Keller Williams for 10 years. I started off in Texas, originally from Tennessee, and now I'm in Georgia. I really want to work on mindset because I do believe I get in my own way. I think that I'm very knowledgeable, but for some reason or another, I stop myself from going out there and being bold, and I want to get over that.
Oh, awesome, Tanya. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, Tanya and I think, had we met before last week?
No.
Okay, so I'm really glad to have you because like Leslie, I've known forever, and Lynn Kaylee, and Alyssa's been a good friend for a while, and then I have a couple of brand new friends. So I'm really excited about that. Who's next? Let's see if I see everybody. Lynn Kaylee, I think you're unmuted and you're here. And Cassie and Tanya, I see that you guys are muted. If you want to introduce yourselves and unmute your line.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Well, I couldn't get I didn't know how to do this, so I just tried. Almost like the struggle bus. So do you have to call in on your phone and then you can use your laptop? Is that what I'm supposed to do?
I'm just on my laptop, and for some reason, we use this all the time with our John Maxwell. Tonight, my video wants to act up. So I'm sort of not, my voice is up to speed, my delay is in the video.
Okay, because I don't see any pictures. I did see Tanya Bird, but I saw the three 14 number, but that's about it. But anyway, I'm Tanya. Hopefully I can figure this out. I'm usually computer. I'm pretty knowledgeable of the computer, but anyway, I don't know what the issue was tonight. But I joined in because I took your class last week and I really enjoyed it, and the Peachtree City Market Center, and I couldn't hear anything of what even your question was, so I don't know what the question was because I was struggling trying to get on.
Oh, it was just introduction, and if you wanted to share what made you decide to join the class.
Well, just your class, and I feel like I've been reaching my goals. I've been a realtor for since 2008 in the Market Tank, and I'm a former teacher, and I've been very successful, been on the ALC, and I've met my goals every year, and it's time to kind of move past my goal and figure out some new strategies and some new things to just kind of push me over the edge. So I'm here to just learn some new things. I just really enjoyed your class, so I thought, hey, why not?
Thanks so much, Tanya. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, Tanya's a new friend. Both Tanyas are new friends to me, so I'm super excited to have them in the program.
Thank you.
Lynn, Kaylee, can you hear us? I just want to make sure. I know you texted me that you were having trouble. I see you on the line, and looks like you're unmuted. And we'll just give you a second, and then if not, you might be in listening mode. I see that you're unmuted. And so I just want to make sure that since you logged on and you're present, that you could hear us and that you were. Okay. Well, if you want to jump in at some point, Lynn, if you can hear us, let us know that you're here. That would be great. So ladies, welcome. We're missing, I think, a couple of folks, and that's okay, because I know some people might jump in a little bit later, but I want to go ahead and get us started. So thanks for introducing yourselves and talking a little bit about why you decided to join the program. For a while now, I've been hearing this phrase from one of my mentors, hold your image. And there's a difference between just hearing that phrase and actually having to apply it in your life. We all have this ideal version of ourselves, this ideal life that we're trying to create. And it's so important for us to hold our image when we don't see our goals being achieved in particular areas. Well, even when you start to achieve your goals or things start to happen, it's still super important to hold your image. And I found that out working both ways, because for a long time, I wanted to be a coach and a speaker. And for many years, I was getting in my own way of that. I didn't think it was possible for me. I didn't have the belief, so I didn't act in the belief. And then just in the last 2 to 3 years especially, I've been at least making a step. And I could see things begin to happen. And even when things begin to happen, I still had to hold my image, because there was a little part of me that didn't believe it was happening. So I wanted to just get your thoughts on that phrase, hold your image. Does that resonate with anyone? Have you had an experience with that? Does that mean anything?
I'm not sure what it means. Hold your image.
Yeah, so it was kind of foreign to me too. And our mentor, Paul Martinelli, he kept signing all of his emails, hold your image. And I thought, gosh, well, I know what that means, but what does it mean? It means when we have a vision for our lives, for who we want to be and what the life we want to create, we have to hold on to that image, especially when we're not seeing anything in the physical world. We have to hold that image when life knocks us down, when we get rejected, when we have failures. And when Paul kept saying that, at first it didn't really resonate. And then after a while it did, because I wanted to be a speaker and a coach, and I didn't see anything really happening. And then this past year, when I really did see things happening, I still had to hold that image because I didn't believe that it was happening. So holding our image is who do I want to be? What life do I want to create for myself? What do I want to have? What's the vision for my life? What's the image? And then holding that, despite challenges, despite failures, despite life knocking you down. It's creating the image of who you want to be and then holding that image no matter what's happening around us. And I was really fortunate last fall because my mentor, Paul, and his partner, Roddy, they put together the Self-Image Mastery program, and I joined. And the program is all around this key concept, and this is going to set the stage for everything that we talk about. It's impossible to outperform your own self-image. It's impossible to outperform your own self-image. Do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that?
I think it's true.
Okay, Roseanne, well, and why? Why do you say that?
Well, if if you're just constantly getting in your own way, or if you don't really believe you can do it, then you're going to self-sabotage, or you're going to do whatever, or your behavior will direct you otherwise.
Yeah, the self-image is a regulator in our lives. So the self-image is based on how we see ourselves, and we feed that self-information. We feed our self-image information, and then our life plays out in accordance with that. And the really good news that I learned from the time that I spent with Roddy and Paul in the class is that we can change our self-image. It's not set in stone. We have the power to recreate and re-engineer it. And what I think gets in our way the most, Roseanne was saying, get in our own way. What I think gets in our own way the most is we have habits, right? At this point in our lives, sometimes we're thinking to ourselves, this is just who I am. This is the life I have, and this is who I am, and there's no changing it. Now, maybe not this group, right? Because you guys are in this program because you're learning based. We have plenty of people around us who are probably that, oh, well, this is me. This is the kind of person I am. And I think that is the big thing that we have to remember. Oh, no, we're not. We are whoever we want to be. And what we're going to do in this program that'll be interesting, I think, is really looking at our beliefs, really looking at who we believe ourselves to be, and understanding, do those beliefs really serve us? Because here's the thing, you guys. We're spiritual beings. And as such, we're always seeking fuller expression and fuller expansion. We always want to be, do, and have more. It's our birthright. We're created that way. So when you get the instinct, or when you get the feeling that says, you know what, there's got to be more to life than this. There's got to be more to be, do, and have. That's the right instinct, because we're given that from the Creator. And I think most of us, and especially after certain points, I think in our lives, we get settled into work or marriage. Those that might have smaller young kids, you just get kind of settled in. And what I'm really glad about this class is it gives us a chance to examine why we believe what we believe and take a look at some of that. So tonight, we're just going to talk foundational principles, some things from the workbook that I emailed out, some things from the book Psycho-Cybernetics. Now, you don't actually have to own the book because we're going to talk principles from the book. I highly recommend it. It's a great one. Now, the starting point, besides you cannot outperform your own self-image, the other starting point really is right from the workbook on page 9. It says right at the top, the most important psychological discovery of the 20th century is the discovery of the self-image. Now, Maxwell Maltz, who wrote the book Psycho-Cybernetics, and some of you heard the story, I told it a little bit in some of my live classes, he was a plastic surgeon. And as expected, a lot of times he would improve someone's appearance, and they would go on to enjoy life. They would see that their appearance had improved, and they would act that way. Maxwell Maltz also noticed there's a small percentage of patients, he would actually improve their looks. And for that small group of patients, it was as if no surgery had taken place. Those patients felt the exact same before surgery as they did after. And so this led him on a journey of exploration and discovery. He wanted to find out why some patients, he would improve their looks, fix their face, and they would go on to enjoy a great life. Other patients, he would do some more surgeries, improve upon their appearance, and after surgery, there was no change. His findings led him to discover this whole concept known as self-image, which wasn't really a thing before the 60s and before Maxwell Maltz. And it paved the way for most of what we know today about modern psychology. Now, what's also interesting about the self-image is that it's very easy to understand and implement. The things that you and I are talking about are not difficult. They're not tricky. We know and we get that the self-image is how we see ourselves. And because it's easy to understand, the things we want to do with it to tweak it or reprogramming it can also be pretty easy to implement. And so as we go through the program and maybe hear some ideas that are new to you, my recommendation is maybe don't think in terms of, is this idea good or bad? Is it right or wrong? Let's, as we go through our discussion, let's think in terms of, can this idea improve my life? Is it something that will move me forward? Now, in your workbooks that I've emailed everybody, so if you don't have a workbook, and Cassie, I don't know if I included you on that email. Now that I see your name, I'm thinking, did I send you a workbook or not? So if you don't have a workbook, just let me know. You'll see the name Dr. Harold Bafidis. Now, when I was in the self-image program in the fall, in October, that my mentors had, they actually had Dr. Bafidis on the phone. He's a plastic surgeon who currently works and lives in Florida, near Palm Beach. And he noticed in his practice a lot of the same things that Dr. Maxwell Maltz was discovering back in the 60s, that some of his patients, many of them, would receive joy and go on to live successful lives post-surgery. And then there were some patients that never saw the result of the surgery, looked in the mirror and still saw themselves as ugly or inadequate. However they saw themselves before the surgery was actually how they saw themselves after the surgery. So it was great to have Dr. Bafidis in our class with us, because we got to ask him questions, and he talked a great deal about his patients, the ones who really went on to enjoy a fuller life post-surgery, and the ones who really struggled. So he, like Dr. Maltz, had such a keen interest in psychology and self-image because of what he was experiencing in his own practice. Now, to me, what Dr. Maxwell Maltz and Dr. Bafidis are sharing with us, I love it. I love what they're saying, because they're saying essentially, nothing on the outside of us can make us happy. Now, that doesn't, they're saying that our beauty, what we own, none of that's going to make us happy if something's missing on the inside. I still want to look like a supermodel and have $10 million, but I love what they're saying, because none of that's necessary for our happiness. And I think some of you probably know people that do well in life. So kind of like the surgery patients, we probably know people that are either good looking and or have had material success. I actually have a friend who has done quite well in real estate. She has a husband, she has a great couple of kids, a house, a very nice house, nice cars. She has all the material, all the outer stuff looks good, and yet the inner struggle is real, guys. It's real. It's hard to imagine that people with everything, that we think of having everything, are still missing something on the inside. It just goes to show that the research that Dr. Maxwell Maltz did way back in the 1960s when he was publishing Psychocybernetics, and even someone like Dr. Bafidis, who is alive and well and practicing in Florida, their research really holds up. The outer stuff, our homes, the way we might look, any material possessions, none of that can truly bring fulfillment and happiness without the inner peace. And so this is good news for us, because it means we have total control over having fulfillment and happiness and joy and peace in our lives. I want to check in with you guys so far, and I want to see what are some of your thoughts as I just begin to scratch the surface on self-image and some of the things that Dr. Maxwell Maltz talked about in the 60s, and the agreement with the plastic surgeon that helped with our program. What are you guys thinking so far?
I'll be glad to go. So in my market center, I'm known as a tech person. I actually got chosen in the region to be one of the Tech Roadshow trainers.
Oh, awesome.
So I have no problem with getting up in front of people and speaking about subjects that I know. I don't think I give myself enough credit. I don't see the talent in myself. And I've had some friends tell me, you don't realize how good you are. You don't realize how you think is unique and your perspective is unique, and you don't give yourself enough credit. So I think my attitude's always been, well, I'm just doing a job. I don't feel like I'm going above and beyond, even though I actually may be going above and beyond. Mm-hmm. And it's not until recently that once I got chosen as being the Tech Roadshow trainer, that it became more apparent to me that, well, yeah, I am good, and I shouldn't be shameful or extremely humble. Not that you shouldn't be humble, but extremely humble about something that you're good at.
I think that's the case, Tanya, for, I hate to say women suffer from this more than men, and certainly not all women. I think a lot of us can kind of relate to that, if not currently in our lives, probably at times in our life where we did think that. And that's exactly the type of thinking that tends to hold us back. And that's the type of thinking when we get in our own way. Yeah, because you're clearly someone in your market center that's giving back. You're clearly someone with experience in technology, and other people could see that. You couldn't see that image of yourself.
Yeah, to me, it's like, what's the big deal? And I guess some people are like, well, I don't get technology. And I'm like, it comes easy to me. So I guess because it's not hard, I just assume that everybody's like me and that I'm not anything special. When that's just not true.
That's not true at all. Yeah. And so those are the type of things that we're gonna dive into during our time together over the next few weeks. It's exactly that. That was a great comment. Who else wants to share anything so far as we just scratched the surface about self-image?
Well, Regina, I can speak about the self-talk I've said to myself all these years about not being organized. And this year, well, not this year, but last year, I started changing some habits. And by changing the habits, it created a different me. And just specifically, my desk at work. I've just decided that I was going to leave it neat every day, and I was going to be able to work without all that chaos around me. And you can change that self-image by creating new habits and believing that you are that person with those new habits.
You're so right about that, Leslie. And that really goes into exactly why you can't outperform your own self-image. When we tell ourselves a story long enough, oh, that's just the way I am. I'm disorganized, or I'm not a morning person, or gosh, I'm just not someone who can lose the weight. Whatever the thing is, life will show us that. It doesn't care what we want, whatever we implant, that's what we're going to get back. And so good for you, because you were calling yourself a disorganized person. And sometimes it seems like little small trivial stuff too. Like, oh, I'm disorganized. I'm just disorganized. And now you're like, wait a minute, I can use habits to change this. Yeah. So self-image shows up all over the place. It's our whole total concept of how we see ourselves. I mean, think back to like grade school. And think back to a time where maybe you had to stand in front of the whole class and speak. I mean, a lot of kids probably in elementary or junior high school or even high school have gone through that moment. You had to give a talk in class and you froze, or you couldn't remember what to say, and the other people were giggling. And I think And that's why so many people will tell themselves, oh, I'm not that great of a public speaker. I hate public speaking. And it just becomes a lifelong thing. It just becomes a lifelong thing. And that's exactly what will show up. Because if that's what we think about ourselves, I'm not a great speaker, or I'm disorganized, or I'm not anything special, that is what life will return to us. We can't outperform. The self-image sets the bar for personal accomplishment. And when we dig into psychocybernetics a little bit more, there's a couple of reasons why malts and so much of the research since this time says why they say that the self-image is the key to living a better life, because all of our actions, behaviors, feelings, and abilities are always consistent with our self-image. So if I don't think I'm a great speaker, I'm going to avoid opportunities to speak. If I don't think I'm a great speaker, I'm going to constantly find myself in scenarios where I'm not a great speaker, just like with Leslie being disorganized. We can only perform consistently. I mean, I just want us, especially on this first session, as we're talking foundational issues, to really understand the impact that we can't outperform it. We can't outperform our self-image. It's kind of like the autopilot. I talked about this in some of my live classes that I did. So just like a pilot types in the plane's destination, if we were at the airport right now and we were getting on a plane for Hawaii, our pilot would type in all the coordinates, everything necessary to get us to Hawaii. And when our plane zigzags and gets off course, the autopilot will kick in. That's what our self-image does. Our self-image keeps us on track towards whatever we truly believe about ourselves. So, and I think I used this particular example at Peachtree City. If I think of myself, if I've always been a $50,000 a year earner, and this year I said, I'm going to earn $150K, and I started having some success. If I haven't truly reprogrammed my self-image, if I haven't truly aligned my beliefs with this new goal, my self-image will kick in and it will send me right back to being a $50K a year earner. So just think about all the people every year, whether it's real estate or really any industry, really any part of life. And think about all the people come January 1 who set that goal of not smoking anymore. I'm not gonna smoke. I'm gonna quit smoking. This is my year. Think about, how many people set that as their New Year's resolution, and think about how many times that does not work for them. Because the way you truly see, if you have not worked on your belief and your self-image, you may gain a little bit of success, you gain a little bit of traction, and that self-image kicks in just like autopilot, and it sends you right back on course to what you truly believe about yourself, to what you truly believe. So I want to check in with you guys again. Anybody want to add any comments or any thoughts or questions in there? Okay, I want to share something that was written in January 1959 in Cosmo magazine. As a matter of fact, it comes right out of psychocybernetics, and I'm gonna, within the next 24 hours, all of you will have access to join the private Facebook group. You know what they say, when you don't have an assistant, you are an assistant. So I am my own assistant. The fact that I've gotten this far, I'm pretty proud of myself. But I'm going to do our private Facebook group, and I'm going to post this in it because this was in the book Psychocybernetics, and it is written January 1959, Cosmopolitan magazine. The author writes, understanding the psychology of the self can mean the difference between success and failure, love and hate, bitterness and happiness. The discovery of the real self can rescue a crumbling marriage, recreate a faltering career, transform victims of personality failure. On another plane, discovering your real self means the difference between freedom and compulsions of conformity. That's so deep that the first time I read it, and I'm just reading it to you guys, and some of you may have read it in the book, some of you may not have, that the difference that the psychology of the self can make is between success and failure, bitterness and happiness. It can rescue a marriage and recreate a career. Discovering the real self means the difference between freedom and the compulsions of conformity. Anybody want to add anything to that? Did that resonate? Did a piece of that resonate with anybody?
Regina, is that similar to like discovering your authentic self?
Yes. Yeah. As a matter of fact, Leslie, not at Sugarloaf, but at my other live sessions, I was talking about the movie I Feel Pretty. And I was recommending, as a matter of fact, somebody from the Gainesville Market Center private messaged me on Facebook. It was one of the guys in the audience, and he said, my wife and my daughter are watching the movie and they're laughing out loud. And he said they really enjoyed it. And it's the silly comedy that I highly recommend, because right now I think it's on Showtime or Stars, or one of them. I think maybe Showtime. I don't think I have Stars because I saw it on.
What's the name of it, Regina?
It's called I Feel Pretty. And
okay.
And it stars Amy Schumer. And I won't make that a homework assignment necessarily. Between now and next week, for the next 2 weeks, anybody that can see it, I know you can get it on Amazon. I don't think it's on Netflix. And if you have cable, I think it's Showtime. And Amy Schumer stars in this movie as just a regular, ordinary gal. She falls down, hits her head. Now before this fall, she's like a lot of women. She is looking for love. She feels self-conscious about her body. She feels self-conscious just about her overall life. At a spin class, she falls off her bike, hits her head, looks in the mirror, and believes herself when she wakes up to be the most gorgeous woman on the planet. Now, the point I drive home in that is that nothing in her outer life changed. She just woke up from that fall and thought, I'm gorgeous and I'm capable. And the new her after that was so authentic. She was full of life and personality. She didn't shrink back anymore. She went for a guy she liked. She went for a job that she liked with such personality. And what's so endearing about this movie is she acts like a person with such total confidence in herself that it's contagious. And the guy that she dates says, how do you do this? How are you always so yourself? And I thought, bam, when we have the belief of who we really are, we are so ourselves. We're our most authentic self, because the authentic us, the authentic Leslie and Tanya and Roseanne, the authentic us does not shrink back. The authentic us plays full out. And that kind of reminded me when Tanya Bird said, I don't think I was doing anything special, I'm humble. Nothing's wrong with humility. Nothing's wrong with humility unless we're getting in the way of that, and we do. But I love when Leslie said, "Is that like the authentic self?" That's exactly what it is, because it's inauthentic. It's inauthentic to play small. It's inauthentic not to rise up to all of our potential. And one of the key things about the self-image is when we get stuck in, oh, this is who I am, there's the danger of not rising up to that potential. And when we don't rise up to our potential, it seems to others and us as though we don't have any. So just think about that. Not using your potential is the same as not having any. And when my mentor, Paul Martinelli, taught one of his Think and Grow Rich classes, I've been in 3 of his Think and Grow Rich classes. And mindset is the big piece of that. So I think later on this year, I'm gonna do some Think and Grow Rich classes. When we play small and when we shrink down, that is, and I don't have Paul's exact wording on it, something to the effect of that's a sin, because it cuts us off from our Creator. It cuts us off from our spiritual self when we shrink back and we play small. And it's a result of our programming and the self-image right now that's working for us or working against us. Yeah, it's authentic to step into your potential. It's authentic. Yeah. What else you guys got in regards to that? Anybody got an insight, something that's coming up for you? And self-image, and like I said earlier in the introduction, even when things, okay, I got a text from Melissa. She can't unmute herself. That's why I'm keeping my phone close to me, just in case you guys have, just in case you guys are having any issues. Okay. I'm so glad you texted Alyssa. Honey, I think you're unmuted now. No, you're not yet. Now you are.
Okay, hi. Yeah, I was clicking the button and it wouldn't unmute me. Something I've been kind of recently seeing is, I've kind of been dealing with the self-doubt a lot in the last few months. And something that's been helping me is a mentor of mine, basically not talking me off the ledge, but it's that she's speaking truth into my life that I'm not seeing of myself. And she speaks it over and over, and I start to believe it. And I've seen such an amazing transformation because when she says things to my face, like her eyes, like you can tell she's not just saying it to just say it to make me feel good or, to give me that false sense of, I don't know, achievement. But she believes what she's saying, and it makes me believe it that much more. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm believing her words, and it's making me better because she's seeing something that I can't see, but her speaking it into my life is basically opening my eyes to it so much more. And it's been an amazing experience. I'm just starting to realize it, that these words that have just been spoken into my life are coming to fruition because I'm actually opening my eyes and I'm aware of, what's going on really.
Isn't that powerful when someone speaks into your life that way?
Absolutely.
And someone like your mentor and someone like, Paul, one of my mentors, will say, well, borrow my belief, because they're at such a higher level of awareness. And this is really the thing that I'm tweaking in my life, is speaking that kind of power into other people's lives, because I have no problem speaking in a room and looking across the crowd and seeing everybody's greatness and their potential. And that's what your mentor, what she was doing for you. And that's what someone like Paul and others have done for me. When I got my position as faculty on the John Maxwell team for our DISC program back in September, I didn't even believe it at first. So you don't have to just hold your image when life knocks you down. Sometimes you have to continue to hold your image even when life is fulfilling some of your goals and dreams. And so I saw the list of other people, because they made the announcement to us a couple weeks before they announced it on the team. And I said, whoa, I don't belong on the list with these people. I mean, these are known people on our team. They've been around for a long time. Some of them are founding members. Some of them have huge, successful speaking companies. I don't belong on this list. And the lady who's in charge, her name is Deb. So I always tease, I have two great Debs in my life. She said, of course you belong on the faculty. And I kept waiting for the first 2 weeks for her to send me the email or call me and say, oh, we're sorry, Regina, I think we have enough faculty members that we need, so we're not going to need you. I waited for that call for a couple of weeks almost, and just kind of didn't even take it in at first. I thought, it's cool to feel this way. I don't really know if this is gonna stay. And then after the team announcement was made in early October, I said, well, I better get with it, because I'm actually a faculty member and I need to start acting like it and work on the projects and assignments that they're starting to give me. So it's powerful when someone speaks that into your life. And even then, I think that's what Alyssa's saying, even then, it takes your breath away. And this mentor saw Alyssa's potential. She sees her greatness, and she's okay to hold the space until Alyssa's belief comes into that. And you don't have to fully believe. You just have to believe enough to start taking a step in the direction of your goals and dreams. Our self-image didn't get this way overnight. And so some of the doubt, some of the self-doubt, or some of the limiting talk, some of our drunk monkey talk, it won't go away overnight. We're just going to find more powerful ways to deal with it. Yeah, that was a great comment. Thank you so much, Alyssa. Anybody else want to chime in with something? That was great.
Regina, it just makes me realize after Alyssa saying that how important it is to be around encouraging, positive people, and also to be that encourager to others that you're around, because it does so strongly affect how we feel about ourselves. And, even going back to your childhood, you're shaped by what the people say to you and how they treat you. It's just, you've got to recognize who you need to be in company with.
That's right. It just always takes me back to that Bowl law. People grow into the conversations you create around them. And that's one of my favorite laws. I think Bijou Have is probably my favorite. That one about, people grow into the conversations you create. We can create conversations first for ourselves and then for other people. Because all those limiting beliefs that make up our self-image, we were having conversations with ourselves. And so we grew into that. And now we can have a different kind of conversation with ourselves and grow out of that. And it is so powerful who we surround ourselves with, who's in our circle. Because just like Leslie was saying a second ago, so much of what's really deep inside of us happened in our childhood. Or they happened through painful experiences, whether we were children or adults. Those painful, hurtful experiences, they left a mark, didn't they? And sometimes those scars are there for years, and we don't even know how it's impacting our lives. We don't even realize fully how it's playing out. So one of the things that we're going to talk about in the next few weeks, and that's Maxwell Maltz does a great job writing about in the book, is about how we can change and re-engineer our self-image for success. And it's something that he talks about a little bit in the workbook, the creative mechanism. And again, I'm going to post some of this on our Facebook page that I'll be making within the next 24 hours. He just has some great starting tips, and that's all tonight kind of is. It's to lay some foundation for what is the self-image, how is it affecting our life, and we've had some great examples talking through that. And then what starts to happen, the next steps are, how do we work with it? How do we work with this self-image to improve our lives? Because that's what we all want. Even the people in our lives who are like, I like things just the way they are. We're spiritual beings, whether we know it or not, or whether we like it or not. And it's in our essence and our core to always seek fuller life. That's where the frustration comes from. People think, oh, the frustration is because of my job or my kids or my spouse. I'm not saying that sometimes our spouses do not frustrate us. At a deeper level, our frustration with life or with the things outside of ourselves that we conveniently blame is really the frustration because every single one of us wants more life. So that's what I'm excited that we get to talk about over the next few weeks is how do we create more life? And I'm going to be using some of the tools and some of the exercises from Psycho-Cybernetics. And one of the great things that Maxwell Maltz talks about is the creative mechanism. Our self-image plays out everywhere we go. Well, think of it this way. All the animals, you and I know that all the animals running around have a survival instinct. They have a means, they have an innateness. How do I stay alive and how do I find food? Well, we were given a survival instinct at a higher level because most of us don't have to worry about staying alive and finding food. So our survival instinct is really a life instinct. We're always passionate about how do I create more life in my life? And Maxwell Maltz calls this the creative mechanism. And it can work for or against us. When we feed it our goals and our positive affirmations, it becomes our success mechanism. And when we feed this negative information and negative limiting beliefs, it becomes our failure mechanism. Because our subconscious doesn't care. It just absorbs. If you say, I'm going to reach my goals this year, and here they are, it's going to strive for that. But if you're always saying you're always working against yourself, it's going to strive for that. It'll go for whatever you give it. That's what's scary and a blessing. It's a blessing and a curse all at the same time because it means, I'm responsible for me. And it also means, wow, I'm responsible for me. I don't have to rely on outside things or other people. I can create happiness, joy, peace, and fulfillment. And so that's exactly what we're going to be tackling. So I want to make sure no one else was texting me that they couldn't do something. Okay. So I want to touch base first on the starter exercises. So if you don't have a workbook, a digital workbook, email me. And I know some of you have printed yours off so you can take notes and use it. It's a great sort of clip notes for psychocybernetics. I just don't want to run out of time before I talk about some of the exercises. This workbook was created by my mentors, and once those of us who partnered with them to use their license, we have free reign to use their workbook, and so I thought, why create my own? One of the exercises, and you don't have to refer to it now, on page 26, it was after call number 1, where are you now? So this is a great starting point for our first session. So between now and next Wednesday, do some thinking and some writing, some digging deep about where are you now. Think about what's working for you and what isn't. And I divide up my life into quadrants. Even though there is no real division, I like to think about my life in terms of where am I physically with my own physical self and my environment. I like to think spiritually. That's me and my oneness with God, a higher power, whatever you would like to refer to. My higher power is God, whatever works for you in that sense. We're spiritual beings. I like to think of also another quadrant would be emotional. How am I where my relationships are? My emotional quadrant means my relationships with other people, especially those closest to me. And then my mental. How am I learning and growing and exercising my mind? So that's sort of how it's easy for me to divide up my life. So the exercise on page 26 is think about what's working for you and what isn't. What's pleasing, what's frustrating in the different areas of your life. So where do you think you can grow the most? Where are you doing well? Where are you doing your best? What's your biggest challenge now? What's your biggest asset right now? I think that's a wonderful place to start okay. Now, somebody who's supposed to join tonight was texting. That's a great place for us to start with our session work, is digging deep into page 26 in your workbook and thinking about where am I right now? Because this is a personal growth program like any other program. It's not because something's wrong with you or because you're struggling. Maxwell Maltz says in his book that working on the self-image is the journey of a lifetime. Because every time we want to be, do, and have more, our self-image has to rise up to meet that. Because all we want is fuller expression and fuller expansion, right? So we've got to keep bringing our belief system along for the ride to match that. When we don't, like I was telling you guys, I have a friend in my life who on the outside has a lot of great material success, career, family, material belongings, and just inside, it's a little bit sad because you know she's in inner struggle with herself. And when that happens to me, I'm seeing someone who was great at the doing, worked hard, earned the money, had the material success. She worked hard to have some things, but the being part isn't there. The beliefs, the belief in self, the self-image, the worthiness, it never caught up with all of her doing. So that's when we experience more frustration and less fulfillment. But as we go along in this program and the rest of the year and the rest of the lives fulfilling our goals, we've got to bring up our beliefs along the way to match our goals. Then we're getting to the good stuff where we have a higher level of fulfillment and less stress. So the creative mechanism, first of all, I want to check in again. What are your thoughts so far? Does anybody have something that they're like, gosh, I want to share this? What are you guys thinking? Is somebody muted that shouldn't be muted? Okay. I just wanted to check in and see who was.
Regina, I'm just going to say I already love the material. I think it's going to be amazing.
Oh,
I think it goes along with a lot of the Keller Williams philosophies and a lot of the bold laws, and I think it's just going to be an amazing journey.
I think so. And that's why when I was sitting down to rewrite, because if I'm honest, the talk that I gave at Sugarloaf in December was my least favorite. I didn't love it. And so I sat down to rewrite it. And I remember rewriting it, and something came into my mind. And I don't know if it was a video or something popped up on my computer about Pretty. And I thought, oh my gosh, that movie, I Feel Pretty, stuck with me. So that's how I opened the rest of my conversation about this. Because I'm telling you guys what, when I saw that movie just 2 weeks, last April, came out April 2018, when I saw it, it just stuck with me. Because I thought, oh my gosh, here's a woman that didn't look any different. She didn't have any different, she didn't have more time, she didn't have more money, she didn't have a better wardrobe. It was her belief in herself that was contagious. Her energy, her attitude, her confidence. She did not shrink down. Now, the old her, before she hit her head, she was kind of hiding a little bit in life, not happy, insecure. We can all relate to that. It was her belief in herself that changed her whole life. So if you have a chance during this time to watch that movie, I would love to hear what you guys get out of it with I Feel Pretty starring Amy Schumer. I think it's going to be a great class, number one, because of all of you. Cassie just in a chat that she watched the movie after my class and loved it. Oh, I'm so glad, Cassie. Are you muted and I need to unmute you, or are you okay to be muted? So let me know if I need to do something, Cassie. Okay, you can't unmute yourself. Okay, I didn't know if you were in a Melissa situation, and I just didn't realize it. So if you have a chance to watch that movie over our time together, I highly recommend it, because I would love to know your thoughts on it, because I expected nothing from this movie, like, oh, it would be a silly little comedy, something we'll watch on our vacation. And we laughed out loud, and the message hung with me. And I had no idea at that time how much of last year I would have to spend honing and holding my own image. Because when things start to go well, we start to achieve our goals, we got to hang on to sometimes our image even harder, because sometimes we're like, oh, I'm nobody special. Why is this happening to me? And it's not that we always feel bad about ourselves. I feel pretty good about myself most of the time. Something does happen though when you get raised up. When I'm like, oh my God, I'm a John Maxwell Team faculty person for just like, how did this happen? I'm a culture ambassador. I'm helping Marcy with half the Cares for Kids. Like, how does this happen? And that's when we can sabotage ourselves. That's when we can allow self-doubt to take over. And I had to push back against it. Granted, after classes like Bold and being in Keller Williams, like Leslie said, it just becomes who we are. We're learning based. We learn to fight against sometimes our own limiting beliefs on everything. And it's a community like this. It's a community like this with like-minded people wanting to grow themselves, not from a place of struggle or brokenness, wanting to grow from a place of, this is a lifelong journey. I'm going to be with me until I'm gone. I don't get to trade me in. I'm going to be with me. And I want to be the best me possible. So I want you guys to tap in now for the last couple of moments. I know we're going to run just a couple of minutes over because we had introduction and a couple of minor technology kinks, better than I expected though. So I'm super excited by that. What are your thoughts as we close out our first session? And again, I'm going to have the Facebook page up and running tomorrow, so you can post a lot there. And I'm going to post a couple of things we talked about on that page.
Well, I'm just eager to get into these exercises and really like figure out what my biggest challenge is and what my biggest asset is, and really start. I'm not someone who loves affirmation so much, but I want to be the kind of person who does.
That was something that I wrote down on here, and I didn't know if I was going to talk about it on the first week or the second week, because I knew there could be a couple minor technology glitches tonight. I knew I wanted everybody to at least be able to say hi. That is also one of the other things, one of the other projects, affirmations. If you're not doing them, and this is my big goal for the program, I'm an on-again, off-again affirmations person. I'm self-admitted. I'm on again, off again. With this program, I'm challenging myself to be full on and to do them every day for the full course of the program. That's one of the things that I wrote down as one of the things I wanted to get out of this program. So I'm just going to say that out loud because that's one of my during the program goals, is to be a person who says their affirmations daily. Because when I say them, or after a while, the benefits are huge. You start to feel something. I've had 2 bold partners. I've been bold 5 times. Twice, my affirmation partner and I were like, can't you start to feel something at the end of this? And then we thought, why do we ever stop doing it after bold, or we don't keep up with it? So I definitely think, Tanya, affirmations, you might want to, as you're going through this Where Are You Now exercise, what are your affirmations? I am, and then maybe you need 3, 5, 7 that you want to incorporate on a daily basis, because that's one thing I wrote down already in my workbook. What else do you ladies have? Any other parting words? I was going to share some stuff about the creative mechanism. I don't want to run us out of time. What I prefer to do is sometimes I'll post extra things on the Facebook page, and I would love to add bonus sessions from time to time. So I might shoot you guys out an email that says, hey, there's a bonus session in 2 days at 6 p.m., at 7 p.m. Or there's a Saturday bonus session at 10 a.m. And if you can join. If you can't, we're going to record it and I'll post the recording. So yeah, I'd rather do some of that. Any other final words? Well, then I will end by saying this, unless somebody says I'm trying to say something, Regina, and I can't. Okay, so unless I know someone's attempting to speak and they cannot, I'll end with something. Earlier today, when I told my husband, I said, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. This is finally happening tonight. I'm scared and excited all at the same time. And he said, I know you're going to be great because this is who you are. And I thought, wow, I cannot imagine not having the supportive husband in my life that I have. So when people tell me that, oh, my spouse isn't as supportive of whatever, real estate or whatever the thing that they are doing or want in their lives, I can't even imagine that. So wherever you are in your life, and I don't know where everybody is exactly, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, because you guys, whether you know it or not, you're holding the space for me. So whatever you get out of this program is whatever you're meant to get. Let me just tell you, I'm getting something from you. You're holding the space for me. And I really, really appreciate that. And I'm excited to get to know you all. And once the Facebook page is up and running tomorrow, I'll send you guys all a link to join. And there we can do a lot more sharing and a lot more insights. I know this was night 1. I'm hoping that all of us are a little less technologically challenged next week, because I had a couple of people texting me that they had some tech issues. And we're going to get all those kinks worked out. So can I just thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for your time tonight. The friends like Len, Kaylee, and Leslie that I've known almost the entire time, the 11 years I've been with Keller Williams, and those of you like Tanya and Roseanne, people I just met for the first and second time, thank you for being here. And I look forward to next week, and I'll send you guys the link to join the Facebook page. Anything else tonight, ladies?
Thank you, Regina. We love you.
Thank you. Love you guys too. Everybody have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.